Well, guys, it's official. We have our first casualty of this year's NHL playoffs, and that is going to be the Winnipeg Jets. Unfortunately for them, they got eliminated today by the Vegas Golden Knights in 5 games. This is the only series that didn't go to 6 or 7 games. Pretty wild, the parity in this year's playoffs, and honestly, I kind of like it. It's been some good quality hockey. For Winnipeg, it just was too much injuries right now. They lost Scheifele, they lost Morrissey. Both these guys weren't playing, and Nicola Ehlers was missing more than half this series. It was just pretty brutal for them all around.
Yeah, the team just didn't score enough goals. I know it's a cliche to say that, but like you look at the score sheet of these games, of game 1 to game 5, like they're just not scoring enough. They're relying a lot on the top 6 to score, Blake Wheeler and these guys. And you look at the production from the bottom 6, they really haven't produced, with the exception of Adam Lowry. He produced maybe 3 goals, and one is an empty netter from game 1. Like they're just not scoring enough. Like Appleton, Stentland, these guys just aren't scoring.
Yeah, it was really the difference if one team had more depth and the other team had no depth, pretty much. When you look at the Jets roster, pretty much all their scoring came from the Dubois line, and then Lowry chipped in as some secondary, but really no one else was really adding a lot. Pionk would have a lot of assists, but I mean, that's not going to get it done when none of your offense is getting it done. And when you look at the Kings, I mean, this guy, Mark Stone, sat on the IR for half the year, comes back and looks absolutely like an stud. Like, this guy was unreal in this series. Just like over a point per game player. Come on. And then pair that with Chandler Stevenson. These two really, really stood out in this series.
Yeah, I want to add on something about Neil Pionk. I've liked him when he was playing New York those year times, and before he got traded to when he got traded to Winnipeg, he was actually quite good. But this year, he just hasn't been good. And you can just clearly tell in this playoff run, I know he's been getting a lot of points, but a lot of those points were power play points. And if you look at his plus minus, he's been horrible. 5-on-5, he's been trash. Like the goal that he even gave up today on the first goal, he looked like trash. He looked like a pile on there. So quite honestly, this is the problem when you lose a player as important as Josh Morrissey. You're going to move up players that shouldn't be playing those positions like Neil Pionk.
Yeah, that's pretty much a Norris caliber player from this season. This guy was absolutely unreal career year. It's really sad, honestly. Like, I'm happy for Vegas Golden Knights fans. Like, I mean, clearly they were the better team, no doubt. 4-1 series win. Like, they clearly stomped.
It wasn't even close.
Not even close.
Yeah.
But I feel bad for Winnipeg fans that they didn't at least get to have one last hurrah with their full roster when they went down, and to just kind of have to slowly lose players game in, game out was pretty rough. Really, we've got to think about 2 things now. One, what's going to happen next round for Vegas when they go against either the Edmonton Oilers or the LA Kings? How do you think they'll stack up against those teams?
I think, to be honest with you, I wasn't sure in the beginning, but now I'm thinking it's going to be a very competitive matchup between one of those teams. Although I know for a fact LA or Edmonton are a lot better than Winnipeg Jets.
Yes,
no
it's a pretty big step up.
It's a big step up. It's a huge gap. It's not even close. Vegas has a very good top. All 6 D-men are very good. White Cloud's good. Haig is good. Pietrangelo. The list goes on. McNabb. All these guys are good. That's the problem that the Winnipeg Jets had to face. It's just that they had to have very good defensemen on this team. And when he's there, and when they get to the goalie, Laurent Brossoit is making these saves.
Yeah, just quick shout out to Laurent Brossoit, ex-Winnipeg Jets goaltender. He got his revenge in this series. Absolutely looked amazing, especially after game 1. He really brought it back. Like, I mean, he kind of struggled a little bit in game 1, and then he was absolutely unreal for the rest of the series. Did exactly what they needed from him. And this is a team that the worry was in net. They didn't really have a lot of goaltending experience, especially for playoff time. Logan Thompson was also injured. They couldn't use him. Jonathan Quick was not even really an option. They weren't even considering him at this point in his career. So good job to Laurent Brossoit. And another player I just wanted to give a shout out from Vegas who really made this possible, that really stood out to me, and I was quite shocked, especially when I looked at his regular season production, was Brett Howden. This guy was stepping up into the top 6, and he was putting up pretty much a point per game in this series. Absolutely unreal.
I think personally, it was the Mark Stone. Like the fact that he came back, I thought he would be rusty. I didn't think he would be this good, but he's been producing for almost all these points, all these goals in almost every game, which is unreal.
You can tell he's been healthy for longer
he's been
than
healthy
a couple
for a long
weeks.
time. They were just stashing him in LTIR, just like Nikita Khrushchev a couple of years ago for Tampa. Same thing. And on top of that, Chandler Stevenson's looking real good right now. He's stepping up his game big time. Obviously, we saw those two good one-timer goals that Jack Eichel scored. He's looking pretty good actually for his first playoff run.
No, absolutely. I like this team's depth, honestly, and that defense is really solid. So it should be interesting to see them next series.
Yeah, it's just when you look at the roster top to bottom, when you look at the roster between especially with the injuries with Mark Scheifele and Josh Morrissey and Nikolai Ehlers, you look at the roster top to bottom compared to Winnipeg Jets to the Vegas Golden Knights is not even close.
No, absolutely not. So let's take a look at the Jets here. One guy I really did like in this series, and I thought played really well for the playoffs, at least in the first couple games. He kind of fell off a little bit in the last couple, but that was Pierre-Luc Dubois. Yeah. And I think this is going to be good for him because I don't think he's going to be a Jet next year, but this might help him for his next contract he gets, whether he gets traded away to Montreal, which is a lot of the rumors right now. But this guy really was a solid playoff performer. I mean, this guy was hitting people, good in the face-off circle, and he added some offense. This guy was chipping in everywhere, which was really nice.
Yeah, actually, I've liked Pierre-Luc Dubois' game when he was playing under Tort's system in Columbus, actually, in those runs. He was very good in those playoff runs for Torts. Yeah. I think playing under Torts, I think Torts taught him how to use his body. He's a big size centerman, how to protect the puck along the boards. That's where, in my opinion, Pierre-Luc Dubois is effective. He makes plays from the boards. Yeah,
not even really a player I've overly liked in his career. Not really a fan of him. Yeah. But I will say, what a heck of a good year for Pierre-Luc Dubois, playoffs and regular season. So I got to give this guy a shout out. Now, I guess the only question we have left really is where's Winnipeg going to go from now? So this is a team that we saw in the second half, they look like a completely different team. They weren't very good. I mean, the first half, they were leading their division, and then they just fell off like crazy, barely 500. I don't even know if they were 500 in the last 30 games of the year because they were pretty brutal. They have a lot of middle aging players, like 30 years old, 31 years old. Blake Wheeler's getting pretty old right now. The direction that they got to pick now, they have to choose between retooling and rebuilding, in my opinion, because I don't think they're anywhere close to making a run.
I think there should be look at a rebuild, honestly. This team, I think, with the assets that they have, like Blake Wheeler, all these guys are too old. Mark Scheifele probably doesn't even want to stick around in Winnipeg for long term. Mm-hmm. And then you have all these key pieces that Pierre-Luc Dubois is his final year as a Jets here. You have Josh Morrissey, but I don't know. I think also another thing we have to add on is that Bruce Cassidy, in my opinion, outcoached this coach very hard in this series.
He did.
Yeah.
I think that they have to rebuild too. As much as retooling would be nice because it's obviously less painful than a full rebuild, especially for the fans who just want to win and they don't want to wait. This team is kind of at that point where they have no really other option. Josh Morrissey had a really great year. I mean, this guy is now in his late 20s, so he's not exactly old by any means. He's still in his prime, especially for a defenseman. But then you look at offensively with guys like Scheifele, who's about to be 30. You have Blake Wheeler, who's pretty old right now, mid-30s. And, I mean, you're going to lose Pierre-Luc Dubois, most likely to Montreal. I mean, the rumors have been to Montreal for over a year now. It's probably going to happen. And I've already seen trade rumors talking about maybe potentially them trading Kyle Connor at the top to try to get as much value as they can. So with this team, it's really difficult to say. But I think that they're going to build around guys like Cole Perfetti, probably keep Josh Morrissey because he's not too old, and then try to go from there and maybe even move Hellebuck.
I personally think they should move Hellebuck and Kyle Connor as good as those players are, especially Kyle Connor. Sell at the top. Like, this team is not going anywhere soon. That's the reality. They're not a team that can just tool on the fly. I think they're more of a rebuild team from the bottom.
No, absolutely. Yeah. But you guys let us know in the comments below what you think, how you thought this series was, if it surprised you, because honestly it surprised me a little bit. I thought it would be a little longer, 6-7 games. Mm-hmm. But we will see you in our next video. Take care and have a great night.
Take care. Bye.